Hey Cloud Gamers, we finally have a Microsoft game on GeForce Now, and it is Gears 5. Now, we're running this on the GeForce Now Ultimate here at full 4K at 120 frames per second, as you can see up in the top right, and I'll show you all the other stats in just a second, but just look how glorious this looks. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I also did manage to get some awesome screenshots as well. So in the client itself, you can see I'm running a forced 4K resolution with 120 frames per second and adaptive VSync. And once we're running the game, you can see that the resolution is set to the stream at full 4K, no HDR, and the frames per second on the stream is 120. It does jump around a bit in the menu screen, so don't worry about that too much. And in true Cloud Gaming Extreme style, we completely maxed out the settings, which in this game is ultra and insane. And I can see why, because what this does to the graphics is just absolutely phenomenal. So completely maxed out at 4K, 120 frames per second. It does look absolutely glorious. It does hit 120 frames per second in that 4K on quite a few occasions, but when the going gets tough and the physics go crazy, the frame rate does dip down under the hundreds quite a lot. It stays above 60, so if you do run this at 4K 60 on any screen with these ultra and insane settings, then you will never see a dip. But if you do want to push for that 120 frames per second, then it does dip down a fair amount. If you want to make it more stable at 4K 120, then we recommend that you bring this down to high settings, so everything on high, no, insane or ultra, and then it does sit at the 120 mark much more stably. It does still have dips, especially when there's a lot going on and there's lots of particle and graphics effects in longer distance, but it does feel a bit more stable, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure of the difference too much between the ultra and insane versus the high settings. So again, if you're going to run this at 4K 60 or 2K 60, then ultra and insane settings is not going to be a problem, and it's going to be completely unwavering. But if you do want to push for that 120, then do drop the settings down to high, especially if you're going to be playing in the multiplayer, then you probably want a few extra frames. But for the most part indoors, even at the high settings, it does hold the 120 frames per second very well, and it does just look absolutely phenomenal. I really can't wait to see more of the Xbox games coming to GeForce Now, as this is an awesome way to be playing. I'll leave you with a bit more of the gameplay here without me talking, so you can get a better feel for the game and performance. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Del, how many engines does a rocket have? Usually 4.
Ignition, engine 4.
Oh, come on! Up there! Coming in here was not your finest idea, man!